Hello and welcome to today's video, which is going to be my top 10 luxury makeup purchases. Now, these are products that I have used a lot and I feel like I'm actually getting my money's worth out of them. Before 2020, I had not tried that much luxury makeup. I definitely had a few of these things that I really enjoyed, but in 2020, I tried a lot more luxury makeup than I did in the past. And I bought some things that I think are great quality and I absolutely love them. But they didn't make it into this video because I just don't feel like I've used them enough, and I don't know that I will use them enough to justify the high price points. So these are products I've gotten a lot of usage out of, and I do feel like the price was worth it, at least to me, based on, my preferences and things like that. So I'm sure there have been other luxury products that I've talked about that I love and I do, but these are the ones that I do feel like for me were actually worth it. The brands I consider luxury are definitely ones that are more expensive than even your usual high-end makeup. So Hourglass, Pat McGrath, Natasha, Denona, Tom Ford, things like that. The ones where the price point is really, really up there. For those prices, the products have to really, really stand out. I do have ranking videos for all of my Natasha Denona palettes and also my Pat McGrath palettes. So you can find those in my ranking makeup playlist. A lot of these products, you've heard me talk about them. Some of these I mentioned in my yearly favorites video. So let's get into it. These items are in no particular order. The first one is one of the older products, and it is the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow palette. I have had this for several years, I think over 2 years at this point, and I've obviously used this a lot. I have major pan on this highlighter, and I've used the contour side a decent amount. Obviously, I have not used it as much as the highlighter, but I personally have really enjoyed this. This is pretty expensive. It's close to $70. This is something I got for 20% off at Sephora a couple years ago, but the highlighter is a beautiful champagne color. It's not a super intense highlighter, but it's very finely milled, and I find that it is quite flattering. And the contour is the contour I'm wearing today, and I feel that that is super flattering for my skin tone as well. They do have a darker version of this palette as well. They did release this in a mini, but I've watched several videos where people are saying that the mini version is not as good quality as the full size. I can't say that for certain because I have not tried it and I have no plan on trying it because I already own this. So maybe watch some videos if you were interested in buying the mini version, just because I've heard from a few people that, yeah, it's not as good, but I really, really enjoy this. I have used this a ton. This is something that I know for sure I've used hundreds of times, and I still have a good amount of product in here. I really like the quality and the formula. Since I'm talking about Charlotte Tilbury, I'll go ahead and mention the other Charlotte Tilbury products that have made it into this video. I will say that I do now own 3 palettes from Charlotte Tilbury. I own 2 of the quads and the Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotize palette. And I really, really love her formula. I do. I gotta say, I was impressed. I was hesitant to try her eyeshadows because I heard pretty hit or miss things on the quads, and it seems that some of the quads are better than others. The 2 I purchased, I really love. None of her eyeshadows made it into this video though, because I just don't feel like I've really used them enough that I'm really getting my money's worth. And even though I think the quality of the quads are very, very good, $53 for 4 eyeshadows is very, very expensive. And I have also tried one of her lipsticks, the one called Bitch Perfect. And honestly, it's a good lipstick, but for the price tag of $34, it's not wowing me. However, this product has wowed me. I mentioned this, I think, in my 10 best purchases of 2020, and it is her blush in Pillow Talk. Now, the color itself, I mean, it's really not that unique. I'm wearing this blush today. It's a pinky mauve. There's a million colors like this out there. However, I do find that this formula is exceptional. It is very smooth, easy to blend. It has a slight sheen to it. I don't know if it's really picking up because of this center color has a bit of sheen. I just combine both colors together. This is incredibly flattering on the skin. I love how this looks. I put quite a bit on today because I do like an intense blush look, but if you're someone who prefers a more subtle blush, this would also be a lovely formula for you if you're into that, but you can build it up as well. I'm really, really impressed with the quality and the formula, and I actually would really like at some point to get another color of this. Again, this was, I think, $40, so I was hesitant to buy this. I ended up getting it at the Sephora VIB sale, and it's probably my favorite blush in my collection now. Last up from Charlotte Tilbury is the Hollywood Flawless Filter. I love this product. I mentioned this also in my 10 best purchases of 2020. And I think it's kind of a unique product. So I have the shade 1, and I think there are 7 shades of this. It's not an incredibly pigmented product. It's subtle for sure. So this is like a light beige color. And so you can use this in many, many ways. You can use it as a glowy primer. You can mix it in with foundation. You can use it as a liquid highlighter. Today I have it mixed in with my foundation, and it adds a bit of a glow, but it's not shimmery or sparkly. It's just incredibly flattering, and I have also used this as a liquid highlighter. Again, more on the subtle side, no shimmers, no glitters. It's just a beautiful product. I don't even really know how to explain it. I've just never tried anything exactly like this. I've tried a lot of Luminous primers, and for the most part, I'm just not that into the ones that I've tried. I didn't really feel that they were that flattering on my skin, or that they were too shimmery. This is not shimmery at all, and I just really enjoy it. I mentioned in that video, the 10 best purchases of 2020, that I kind of hate when companies use words like flawless and filtered, because I think it's setting unrealistic expectations. However, I do feel like when I use this, it does give a bit of a filtered effect to the face. I love this, and I do think cost-wise, this is a fair price. It's $44, but you do get a fluid ounce, and a lot of liquid highlighters out there are about $30 to $40 for half a fluid ounce. So I actually think that out of all the Charlotte Tilbury products, the price on this is not bad. Next up is this powder by Hourglass. Now, I do own a few other powders by Hourglass, and I have 2 of the face palettes. And I really do like the blush formula. I guess I would put the Hourglass blush formula as a bit of an honorable mention in this video. But this powder I have used so much. This one is Luminous Light. And I have finished 2 minis of this in the past, so I finally decided to splurge on the full size, which is $48. It's pretty expensive. This is a really subtle highlighter, and I use this as a finishing powder, but you can also use it as a highlighter as well. I don't know that this really swatches that well. You can see it there. I mean, of a bit of a pinky champagne with some sheen to it, incredibly finely milled. Now, I did mention in my yearly favorites video that I've been using the Catrice highlighter in Champagne Campaign as a finishing powder, and it's probably one of the few drugstore products I have found that works as a finishing powder. But because I've used this so much and I finished 2 minis in the past, I do think that this is a special product, and I really do love the formula. And out of all of the Hourglass powders, this is definitely my favorite, and I have repurchased it. Next up, I'll just mention both of these together, and that is my Marc Jacobs bronzers. These are $49 each, although these have been on sale in Sephora. I think this one is still on sale for $30-something. And a lot of Marc Jacobs products have been on sale in the last year. I did try one of their eyeshadow palettes. I like it, but I don't know that it's amazing. And I do also have a blush. Again, that one is quite beautiful as well, but it just didn't quite make it into the top 10. However, these bronzers I have used so much. There's a lot of product in here. So yeah, you get 0.8 ounces. And this is the one called Tantric. And I have hit pan on this, and it took so long to hit pan on this bronzer. I have gotten tons of use out of this. And you know, if you don't own a lot of bronzers, you know, buying something more expensive with more product may actually make sense. Now, if you already own 30 bronzers, you know, that wouldn't necessarily make sense. I actually don't have that many bronzers in my collection. So this one is a bit more on the neutral side, and it's a bit darker than this color. This color is Tantastic, and I really do love this one. I think I prefer this a bit more. The one in the black packaging I like a bit more as a contour, but I can wear it as a bronzer as well. And I have used this well over 100 times because I kept track, and I have not hit pan. And as you can tell, I am nowhere close to hitting pan. So again, if you don't own a lot of bronzers, something that is bigger but more expensive may actually be worth your while. I will say I have really wanted to buy the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. I've heard very good things about that. The price point is similar. I think you may get slightly less product in that one. I can't remember, but the reviews on her bronzer are really, really good. So if you guys have it, please let me know what you think. Honestly, I haven't even seen a negative review on those bronzers. They appear to be quite nice, but I have these and several other bronzers, which is why I have not purchased it. And I think that bronzer is also $50. So Again, it's kind of on my wish list, but I clearly have plenty of bronzer. However, you know, I paid a lot of money for these, but I've used them so much and I still have product left that I do think it was worth it for me. Only one lip product made it into this video, and that is the Pat McGrath glosses. Now, I know I've been talking about these so much in the last year. They were in my yearly empties, my yearly favorites. I had several of the minis. I used them all up. I love this formula. It is incredibly smooth and incredibly shiny. This color is Bronze Divinity. I have this in a full size. I have 2 minis left. It's just a beautiful product. I really, really enjoy this formula. It's incredibly smooth and incredibly shiny and pretty long wearing for a lip gloss, I will say. Very nice applicator also. This shade doesn't have a lot of color to it. It just has a lot of shine, but I do think there's something exceptional about this formula. My other favorite glosses are way less expensive. I still love the NYX Butter glosses. Those are probably my #2 favorite after these. However, there's something special about these that I actually think are worth the price. And honestly, lip products overall, there are such good affordable lip products out there, you know, like ColourPop and NYX, that I don't usually feel the need to pay for high-end lip products, let alone luxury lip products. Also, lip products go bad, and I am not that good at finishing up lipstick because I don't really tend to reapply it. Lip gloss, I can get through it faster than that, but I don't know. I just don't want to waste a bunch of money on luxury lip products. I will say that I mentioned I had that Charlotte Tilbury lipstick. I don't really love it. However, I have heard that her Matte Revolution lipsticks are better because the one I bought is the Kissing formula, and I've heard that that one's not as good. So, a bit of a side note here, but I may try one of her Matte Revolution lipsticks. If you've tried that and that Kissing formula, please let me know if you notice a difference. Obviously, one is matte and one is more of a satin, but I don't know. The one I have is just only okay to me, but we'll see. However, these lip glosses for me have really, really been worth it. They're expensive, $28, but I've used this one a lot and I finished several of the minis. As I mentioned, only 3 eyeshadow palettes made it to this video. These are 3 palettes that I feel like I have used a lot, absolutely love. First up, this Pat McGrath one. This is one of her mini palettes. This is the mini Sublime. Full price, they're $28, but these have been on clearance at Sephora for quite a while for only $14, which for a luxury brand is pretty crazy cheap. I mean, the packaging is a bit on the cheapy side, but what matters is the quality of the eyeshadows. These are very high quality, and I own full-size Pat McGrath palettes. These are just as good, you know, so they did not reduce the quality of the formula for a mini palette, which a lot of people think that like the Natasha Denona mini palettes, some are better than others. The formula tends to vary. Not this. This is top notch. And I have used this a ton. I got this when it was 20% off, so I definitely paid more than the $14. But for the quality of the eyeshadows, I don't think I really paid that much. I think these are beautiful. These are so shimmery and foiled. They don't require a wet brush, and there's virtually no fallout. I've worn this so much. I've worn this in some recent videos as well. I was wearing this palette in my 10 best purchases of 2020. This one was mentioned in that video also. It's amazing, and I really do love it. This next palette I also mentioned in that video, so I know it's a little redundant, but these are things that I have used a ton. The Safari palette. Now, I got this for 50% off for $64, and it is still reduced to that price on the Natasha Denona website. It's no longer available at Sephora. So this one, I don't know that I would have paid the $129 for the full price, but I have used this palette so much. It's one of my most used Natasha Denona palettes. I did rank my Natasha Denona palettes, so I'll link that if you did not see that. This one is great. These are more pigmented mattes than some of her other mattes. So I know that a lot of people didn't love the formula, but personally, I really, really enjoyed it. It seems to be a hit or miss palette. I know a lot of you guys have told me that you enjoy this one as well. So I think that these are great. I've had no problems with them. I really enjoy this color story. And because it's an all matte palette, I can very easily combine it with other palettes to get a complete look. Now, I do all matte looks sometimes, but I do often like a shimmer on the lids. So often I'll use these mattes with a shimmer from another palette. And this is just a great palette, and I've used it quite a bit. Alrighty, last up is the Metropolis palette. Now, I have mentioned that I absolutely love the green and brown palette, and I also mentioned that in my favorites video. That palette did not make it to this video because it is so expensive. It was more of like a splurge, treat myself type purchase. I don't know that it was worth that price tag. I just think it's incredibly expensive. I have used it quite a bit, but I have used this so much more than that. Now, I've had this palette for a lot longer than I've had the green brown. I've had this palette for well over a year. I bought it the day it was released, which was, yeah, well over a year ago at this point. Now, I did pay $129 full price for this, but look how much I've used it. I mean, I've hit pan on this, and it takes a very long time to hit pan on Natasha Denona eyeshadows. The pans are very, very deep and it's very pigmented, so it takes some time. This is one of my most used eyeshadow palettes. I love the color story. I mean, I love warm tones and I do enjoy the pops of color in here, like this red and this blue. You know, there's not a dud shade in this palette. I feel like I can do a wide variety of looks. The only con with this palette, I did a full review with this when it came out, and I've done Get Ready With Me's. I've talked about this palette a lot. But my only issue is that there are a few repeat shades. These orangey browns on the eye, they don't look that different. These browns here on the eye, they don't look that different. And I own quite a few Natasha Denona palettes at this point, and I have noticed that is a recurring theme in her palettes, where there are shades that they may look slightly different in the pan or slightly different on a swatch, but on my eyes, they look nearly identical. I really don't like that, especially for how expensive her palettes are. I wish there were not repeat shades, but despite that, I still love this palette, and I think the formula on this is top notch. It's amazing. I've used this a lot and I don't regret getting it for full price. That is it for this video. Please let us know your luxury makeup favorites, things that you've used a lot and you feel like you have gotten your money's worth out of them. I've used these products a ton. I really, really enjoy them. Some of them I did get full price. Some I did get on a bit of a sale. I will say, as far as luxury makeup, for the most part, I do try to wait for sales because the price tags are pretty high, and honestly, a lot of them are a bit on the ridiculous side, but these things I've really enjoyed a lot. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.